Sup, you guys? ASD Classified here. So, Power Rangers Beast Morphers has returned to the States. Better late than never, I suppose. So, episode 9 has aired today. Silver Sacrifice or something like that. Whatever, episode 9. It aired today. I didn't care for it much. I just didn't. So, it's not like it was all bad. It had some decent stuff in it, but overall, didn't care for it. So let's just get to the things that I disliked. Okay, let's just talk about it. Okay, starting with Evox. So, villain plan of the episode was pretty much, hey, remember what we did in episode 8? Let's just repeat that shit. Which I have no issues with, okay? Like, if you have a good villain plan, why not try it again, right? I mean, they have to get Evox out, right? He's trapped in the cyber dimension. They need to get him out, so they gotta build a cyber gate again to do that. Well, it's fine. So, the villains, you know, they still want to use steel as Evox's body, you know. So, the villains end up capturing steel. And so, they activate the cyber gate. Evox comes slithering into our dimension, right? And he's unable to infect and take over Steel's body because Steel has human DNA in him, they say. Evox's words were, "My virus is incompatible with this body because Steel has human DNA in him." I don't even know how this makes sense. I don't get it. Your virus. It doesn't really matter that Steel has human DNA in him because it's still a robot too, right? Like, I mean, I don't know, android with human DNA in it, a cyborg, whatever you want to call him, still got robotic shit in him, okay? Still has robots, pieces and parts and mechanics that work. Your virus should be able to infect it. I'm sorry, this makes zero sense. And why is the human DNA a problem, but the beetle DNA isn't a problem? Really? Like, what about this makes sense? What about it makes sense? Okay, Evox has to be like the worst sci-fi virus I've ever seen. Like, are you serious that you can't infect him? Like, I don't read the comics much, but I'm pretty sure that, you know, the Teen Titans hero Cyborg, I'm pretty sure he's been infected multiple times. No way in hell he hasn't been infected by a virus before. So, I would have rather the excuse be that Nate upgraded Steel with McAfee protection or something. Like, what is this? This is like writing a monster that has poison, but making the poison be curable by a good night's sleep. Who would do such a thing? Oh, and what about the core 3 Rangers, right? The whole reason they have those weaknesses that barely come up anymore, the whole reason they have those weaknesses is because of the Evox virus, right? It corrupted them. They're fully human. I don't understand. I'm sorry, man. This is lame for me. I'm sure Power Ranger fans already come up with like a billion excuses for why this makes sense, but it's lame to me. It's just lame. Period. The second thing that I didn't like about this episode, it was how the villains even got their hands on Steel. That was kind of ridiculous too, right? So, like, how do I even try to explain this quickly? I don't even know. Like, the point is, General Burke was in this episode. He found out that Evox wants to use Steel, you know, as his body or whatever. So, you know, the General was like, well, Evox can't come into our world unless they have Steel. So we need to shut Steel off and throw him in the dungeon or whatever else. Obviously, the Rangers didn't like this. They're like, no, Steel's our teammate, blah, blah, blah. So they went to go work on their own to try to stop Blaze and Roxy and destroy the cyber gate, because in their minds they're like, well, if the cyber gate is destroyed, then there's no reason to shut Steel off and throw him in the dungeon, right? Okay, you know, even though the cyber gate was already destroyed in like the last episode, but whatever, okay, it's fine, this is your plan. So the Rangers go off on their own to where Blaze and Roxy are located, but the General and his soldiers follow the Rangers and are like, you're disobeying direct orders, how dare you? And through all this arguing between the Rangers and the General, Ben and Betty sneak off for some reason, and then they get captured by Blaze and Roxy. This whole thing with them was contrived. But yes, Blaze and Roxy end up capturing Ben and Betty, and they're like, turn over Steel, or we'll kill Ben and Betty, or whatever, right? And Steel, being the good guy he is, he's like, no, take me, I sacrifice myself to save the General's children, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, Blaze and Broxy get Steel, but then they release Ben and Betty. And this is when the episode really just starts to fall apart for me. It's like, are you serious? Why would you release them? Why would you let them go? And I'm not just talking about just to be evil and betray the Rangers. I mean, it doesn't make sense to let them go, because your plan just falls apart after that. If you release Ben and Betty, the Rangers have no reason to not just attack you and take Steel back, which is exactly what they did in this episode. This is so dumb. Like, if you would have just kept Ben and Betty, then that would have been like, alright, Rangers, you better stay back until we finish doing what we're doing, or we will still kill Ben and Betty. That would make way more sense. To keep Ben and Betty while Evox is trying to infect Steel. That would make way more sense. But you release Ben and Betty, and the Rangers have no reason to not just attack you. I don't. So there's that. And there's also the handling of Nate and Steel's relationship so far. It's just, it could be handled better. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say that it's bad. It just could be handled better. You know, I mean, that whole scene in the beginning of the episode was just, pretty much it could be summed up with this. Bro, brother, broski, bro self, hermano, Oni-chan, Ototo. Like, I just... Alright, we get it. You're brothers. We get it. I just, you know, and this whole episode is built on Nate and Steel's relationship. And oh no, it would be so terrible for Nate if Steel is shut down or destroyed or turned into Evox or whatever, right? This whole episode is built on that. But it really doesn't do much for me because you haven't really built up the Nate and Steel relationship that much. They tried in this episode. They tried to give them some scenes together, like going jogging or whatever, and dialogue and looking at their new Zords that Nate built or whatever. They tried, but it just didn't feel good enough. And maybe they should have had an episode of Nate and Steel bonding before they had this episode. You know, maybe that would have helped, because I feel like this episode was too much telling instead of showing, right? They were telling us that they're brothers instead of showing us that they're brothers. You know, it's just, it was too much telling, not enough showing, right? They had some showing, not enough. Yeah. Side note, I have a question. So, robots in the Power Rangers universe right now. So, robots on Earth, is that like a normal thing? Like, there's like a bunch of robots walking around town? Because Steel being in public doesn't seem to be that big of a deal, right? Like, there was a dude in the episode, like a random citizen who saw Steel and was like, oh, cool robot dude. And that was it. Like, it's a robot. Like a real, like, functioning, like, android, like, robot. Like, and he's just not, he's like, oh, cool. Okay. It's, I don't know. I mean, if that's the world they live in, that's the world they live in. I just feel like that kind of should have been, I don't know, explained better, I guess. But whatever. It's just, oh, robot, cool. Okay, it's not like we've seen any other robots walking around town. So it's just like, I guess, man. I mean, we're supposed to be coming up to SPD time, so I guess. But still, I feel like they could have explained that better. And besides, the Rangers constantly having a robot walking around them, doesn't that kind of threaten their secret identity? Because they're barely keeping it a secret. But whatever. Okay, let me try to speed up what else I didn't really like about this episode. Ben and Betty, which I could say about almost every damn episode. Honestly, I try to ignore them. I try to ignore them. I try to. But I don't like them. They annoy me. They annoyed the hell out of me when they were falling off Nate's Zord in this episode. They annoyed the hell out of me when they got kidnapped for no goddamn reason. They annoy me. And it's just, I don't like them. Like I said, I try to ignore them, their existence, everything, just to get through an episode of Beast Morphers, but I can't stand them. I can't. Okay? And it's weird that a lot of people, a lot of the Power Rangers fans seem to like them. I mean, it's fine, differences of opinion, but like, I don't get it. What makes them so better than like Victor and Monty, which a lot of y'all despise? Like, I don't. What makes them better exactly? Like, well, I heard one reasoning. Like, there was a YouTuber, I think it was it Julio Coolio? I don't know. I watched the video where he's talking about the greatness of Beast Morphers or something. And, you know, he had the opinion about Ben and Betty, and what makes them better is that, you know, they're more involved in the Ranger activity, which I do agree with in a sense. It is cool that they sometimes do help, but 9 times out of 10, they're a menace, and they bring the episode down. I wish they didn't exist. I wish they didn't exist. I don't know why we need them when we have the Beast Bots. I don't. And where were the damn Beast Bots in this episode? We have too many characters. They could have been, like, written out. It's nothing against the actors, but the characters are unnecessary. Like, I don't even... And Blaze and Roxy, let's just talk about them. Gotta round out the regular criticism of that these fools need to learn how to fight. Like, oh my gosh, I can't. It's painful to watch how weak Blaze and Roxy are, considering that I saw Go Busters. It's painful to watch how weak they are. The Rangers, in the beginning of this episode, defeated Blaze and Roxy unmorphed. I don't... What is going on? It's like, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Ben and Betty could beat Blaze and Roxy. Like, pathetic. Doesn't even begin to describe them. Squat and Babu were more successful out here in battle. What is going on, man? And Nate just knows how to fight now, which is normally a thing that I don't really criticize in Power Rangers, because we had plenty of seasons where that happened. Oh, some dude that don't know how to fight, he becomes a Ranger, he's perfectly, proficient into that now. It's not that big of a deal, but like, in a season like this, where they like, you have to be the best of the best to be picked as a candidate to be a Power Ranger, and Nate has never shown any like fighting abilities until like episode 8 when he was morphed. But now even unmorphed Nate knows how to fight really good. It's just... Okay, alright, whatever, there's a lot here, there's a lot of rambling about, but the point is, I didn't really enjoy this episode that much. I wanted to, I just didn't, there's a couple of cute lines in it that I like there was the one where Blaze and Roxy first showed up to take Steel, and Roxy said, we're here for that big hunk of steel, and Steel was like, well, thank you, That was cute, Steel has barely been here for a day and he's already pulling them. He already got them like that. I liked it. It's fine. But overall, I just didn't care for this episode that much. So, if you're watching this review, what did you think about episode 9 of Beast Morphers? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was meh? Let me know in a comment if you would be so kind. Alright, later guys. Jamata. Oh Lord, I cut the camera off before I even rated the episode. I don't remember doing that. So, re-recording this part, I'm going to give this episode 9 of Beast Morphers, a 2 out of 5. Do better. Step your game up.